Okay, so disinformation is something totally different from what they are going after or describing. Disinformation is when you make up things that aren't true and you spread it so people think they're true. In this particular case, we are talking about pre-existing political opinions in the United States. These are pre-existing political opinions that have existed well before any Russian engagement or involvement or what have you. One of the indictments that came out yesterday, it does not allege that these people that they say were being funded by the secret donor that was hiding their true identity, they already had these opinions. They already believed in these things. They legitimately believe in the views that they're espousing. They were victims, they were targets of a fraud in which someone posing as just a regular investor had Russian money behind them. As far as the Russians, yeah, and the Chinese and the Iranians and other countries as well. And by the way, my view of it is that, yeah, this is all very serious and concerning. We need to have our eyes wide open. I think there's actually real disinformation being promulgated by some of the editorial rooms of some of the biggest media companies in America.
There is nothing new under the sun. We have a brand new election, and of course, Russia is trying to interfere again. So we got to pull out all the stops to get rid of that disinformation that, of course, is happening all across this country. So, of course, to stop the spread, Tenet Media has now been raided by the DOJ. And Tenet Media was founded by Lauren Chen, and supposedly they received $10 million from members of RT, the Russian Times. And Tenet Media has connection to several big-time right-wing podcasters, such as Dave Rubin, Benny Johnson, and Tim Pool. Never mind the fact that Tim Pool is actually a huge independent and Dave Rubin is a huge moderate. So of course we have to stop these people from discussing all of the problems we see in America because now it lines up with supposed Russian disinformation talking points. But what I want to focus on here is this blistering response we actually got from Greg Gutfeld, one of the last reasons to even pay attention to Fox News. Let's go ahead and check this out.
All right. So stop me if you've heard this one before. The Department of Justice and the FBI just announced another investigation of Russian influence of American presidential politics. The DOJ charged 2 Russian employees of RT, the Russia state-run media outlet, with funding a $10 million scheme to push right-wing viewpoints and help Donald Trump get elected. The DOJ seized 32 internet domains that they say mimicked legit U.S. news outlets, all to spread disinformation. So what was that disinformation? Well, it was unaffordable prices for food and goods, that DEI might be bad, and that crime committed by illegals is happening. Now, hold on a second. Those topics sound kind of familiar. It's like the stuff we talk about. How convenient is that for our weaponized justice system? Every single issue we cover can now be chalked up to Russian disinfo. At least they left out the restful benefits of Relaxium. So Russia paid $10 million for stuff you could have gotten from me for free. Well, I would have only charged 7. 10 million is actually a pay cut, I kid. But trust me, $10 million isn't much in TV. Fox spends that every week on hair and makeup.
Not on me.
It was 20, but then Geraldo left.
Never over.
Yes, $10 million. Apparently, Russia has upped their game from 2016, where they spent a few $1,000s on Facebook ads. Now they want to go directly to the source. Where are people getting a lot of their information? From all of those influencers I mentioned earlier. So, of course, now what is the big brain plan from Russia? To pay conservative influencers to discuss the very same things that they always do, and the very same things that all of us see in the world around us. Now, I'm not saying that Russia is not trying to influence our elections, because all governments try to influence elections everywhere, because it's very useful to have people in power who agree with you, okay? But to look at this situation and say, what odd timing that this would all come out now, right before the 2024 election. Of course, they pulled the trigger a little too soon because it's not really an October surprise yet.
But sorry, guys, hate to break it to you, it isn't Russia destroying our faith in government, it's our government telling us that Trump can't be president because Moscow prefers him to Kamala. I know, Russia doesn't want Kamala. Even the people who embraced Karl Marx thinks Kamala is too much of a Marxist. That's like The View saying a Big Mac is too high in calories. Look, I don't want any foreign state interfering in our elections, but my dog's Instagram has more influence. One fake social media account alleged to have spread Russian lies had only 7 followers. It was called CNN California. Yeah, but with only 7 followers. Seems pretty accurate. Meanwhile, notice what meddling evildoer wasn't the target of any indictments. Iran, who hacked Trump's campaign, funded protest groups that took over American colleges and sponsored Hamas, which killed U.S. citizens. I mean, why target Russia, not Iran? Iran tried to kill Donald Trump. Well, I guess some questions answer themselves. Meanwhile, China's assets drive around Democrat senators. They screw Democrat congressmen like Eric Swalwell. He smells. And they get themselves on the staff of New York governors. I guess the problem with Chinese influence is that an hour later, Democrats are hungry for more.
Nah, give him that.
Thank you. I'll take it. Although the hard part for China is finding a spy willing to stomach Swalwell's farts or look at Hochul's face. So what is the difference between whatever this is and whatever the U.S. does on our own? Well, we do more damage to our citizens. Seriously, did Russia cover up Joe's dementia for 4 years? Did Russia exercise a silent coup once Joe's illness was exposed? Did Russia push mail-in voting and no voter ID, completely destroying exit polling as a way to gauge a fair election? Did Russia push voting machines over paper ballots? Did Russia force RFK Jr. to stay on the ballot against his will in the hopes it hurt Trump? Did Russia paint Trump as Hitler and push hoaxes that put a target on his back? Did Russia elevate the only Democrat on earth who makes you miss Joe Biden? And did Russia, in the worst interference of all, weaponize our justice system in a perversion called lawfare, all to a cheering American media? Damn, I'll take foreign interference over this domestic any day.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how these indictments only go one way. As Greg brings up China and Iran, right? They give tons of money to the Democrats, tons of money to left-leaning institutions. And what's happening to them for influencing our elections? Absolutely nothing. They are funding protests. They are funding people who are embedded in some of the highest levels of our government. But don't worry, it's not them. It's the Russians. And the other point that Greg brings up there is that this supposed Russian disinformation can't do any more to harm anyone's faith in the government than what the Democrats and the government has currently done. I mean, look around you at the madness the government has been spreading. Look around at the missteps the Democrat Party has been taking. And all of this, of course, is at the feet of the Russians and not propaganda being spread by the Democrats through China. Of course, none of that happens. So I love seeing this called out in real time, right? It's the same old playbook. It's the same old call to arms and action. And of course, it's the same election interference. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.